I'd left school, not really sure what direction to take with my life, and I was spending a lot of time at home with my mum, doing your stereotypical things, I suppose, of helping her clean up, not really knowing which direction I take with my life. And an opportunity came up as a teaching assistant in the Traveller Education Service. So I decided to go for it, and I got it. And then I realised that there was just such a lack of knowledge around Gypsy and Traveller language, culture and history in schools, and there was a real lack of Gypsies and Travellers who were working within schools either as teaching assistants or teachers, and that's really how I got onto my path. And I was just sick of there being so many low expectations about Travellers, and I guess at that point I decided that I just didn't want to be a teaching assistant because that was just what people expected. So I decided that I'd go to university. And I did a foundation degree, and then I did a degree, and then I decided that a degree wasn't enough, so I did a master's, and that was all around inclusive education and trying to influence policy and change on that level. And I became involved in ACET, who were the Advisory Council for the Education of Romany and Other Travellers, and I'm their chair now. And what we do is try to advocate and lobby for policy change to make sure that every young Gypsy and Traveller who's in the education system can reach their full potential. So I worked in Traveller education for 8 years, and I could see that on the main, schools weren't inclusive of Gypsy and Traveller heritage, history or culture, and there was a lot of children struggling. So for example, Gypsy and Travellers have the worst outcomes in the education system. They're four times more likely to be excluded from school, and in research that's been done by lots of people, they found that in cases where lots of children have been excluded, when they've been investigated, they've been overturned on appeal, which points to something wrong going on in the system. And I think there's a lot of stereotyping and discrimination and misconceptions about who Travellers are, and a lot of lack of information, which has really set me on my activism path, I suppose, if you wanted to call it that, because I found that there weren't many voices who were speaking up, who had lived experience and who were from the community, that were really raising their voices. And I felt like I had to. It really wasn't a choice for me whether I be an activist or not, or it wasn't even in my mind that this was activism. It was just that I needed to raise my voice about things that were going on that I thought were wrong. So at Travellers Times, I run their youth and journalism programme for young people. And it's all about offering a platform for young people to share their experiences, their frustrations, and raise their voices on issues that they feel are important to them. And I think it's really important to provide a space, especially for marginalised voices, to have their say on things and to have their stories told, but just to try and approach things in a more creative way, a way that engages young people more. I guess the reason why I decided unconsciously to develop It's Custody to Rocker project was the fact that so many people in my family were dying under the age of 50, including my mum. And low life expectancy is a real massive issue facing our community. I felt it was so important that, especially for young people, their voices were being heard, not only by other young travellers, but actually by people who could influence legislation or policy change to make things and to make this world a better place for young people.